Everybody, this is my friend, my good friend Josh LeMasters. He is a helicopter enthusiast. Well, he doesn't have a PhD and he's not licensed in this field, but he is an expert on the subject.
Yeah, more than your average bear, probably.
Yeah.
I have read most of this thick book.
So I have requested his help in answering this week's question, which is coming to us from Troy in Joplin. His question is, why do helicopters have rotors on the top of them and not on the bottom?
Troy, that is a great question. Helicopters, like the one I have right here, use their rotor on the top to create lift, and that lift from that rotor or wing on the top helps the helicopter fly. One thing it's important to know if you're around a helicopter is to stay clear of the rotor. And if you can imagine a helicopter upside down like this, that was June in the background. If you can imagine a rotor on the bottom, that kind of looks a lot more like a lawnmower than a helicopter to me if the rotor was upside down. And it might be hard to get into the helicopter. It is possible that a rotor on the bottom could still fly. They would just have to change the pitch of the blades. It would just be really hard to get into a helicopter with the rotor bottom.
Right. Seems like it could be dangerous for your legs getting in. Are the rotors on a helicopter, is it similar to an airplane wing where like the shape of it is what gives it lift? Like on how on an airplane wing you have the wing is curved so that the air takes longer to pass over the top, and that's what makes there be lift.
Yeah.
That's a really detailed schematic.
I have a really good book. Can I go get it?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you my
Oh yeah, let's hear that book.
Science for Babies. This says this is a ball, and this ball is moving. You see it has the arrow. It goes through this ball. Air goes around the ball. Change the shape of the ball to change the airflow. So a wing is a ball that's been squished to create an airfoil. And if you change the angle, sometimes called the angle of attack, to deflect the air downward. And also, as you mentioned, the underside of the wing is traditionally flat while the top is curved. That creates additional angle. And when you change the angle, it goes up, or no, sorry, the air goes down and the shape goes up. The upward force is called lift, and this is the shape of an airplane wing, or, as I said before, a helicopter rotor. A helicopter rotor is basically just a small airplane that's been fixed to the top of the helicopter, and it spins around fast enough to create lift. This ball has no lift. The wing has lift. And to make the wing move forward, we put it on a rocket ship or an airplane or helicopter. This ship is full of fuel. If the fuel goes out, the ship goes forward. The faster the fuel goes out, the faster the ship goes. So we make it explode. The forward force is called thrust. With lift and thrust, to the moon. Now you are a rocket scientist.
Nice.
Book, huh?
Fun book. I was Googling this and I saw that the military had tried out these like hovercraft type things that had a rotor on the bottom. Obviously they were super dangerous, but there's one that they had that like, there was sort of a can around it and a platform on top, and you could fly it just by leaning. Like whichever way you leaned, it would fly that way. Have you seen anything like that?
There have been all sorts of strange and different designs throughout the years. I used to love to watch documentaries about aircraft, and especially when helicopters were first coming up the scene, they were trying, the military and different scientists were trying to overcome certain limitations of different designs. And so they experimented with rotors in multiple places and rotors, one big rotor. There is actually, you'll notice on this helicopter, there's one rotor on the top. This little rotor in the back is there. As a rotor on the top turns, it creates centrifugal force, and it actually causes the helicopter body that you'd ride in, that Sky here would ride in, to so this little.
Do you want to see me fly it?
This is June.
Mommy,
Hold on. So June wants to fly her helicopter.
So the rotor that's on the back keeps the body of it from spinning around while it's flying.
Rotor on the back, it's called the tail rotor, is set up so that it will actually create force in the opposite direction that rotational force is creating.
Right.
So a helicopter can actually spin faster one way than it can the other because of that centrifugal force. But there are some helicopters that don't have tail rotors. Instead they have two or twin main rotors, and they're both on top, and they actually spin in counter-rotating.
Gotcha.
There's those in use today.
I do have that.
Stack those on top of each other.
All right, hang on. I'm trying to talk to Uncle Josh.
So there are designs where they will actually stack the two rotors, one on top of the other, and they turn in opposite directions, counteract each other. And then there are also designs that they'll put one in front and one in the back. And those are actually, even though they're some of the largest helicopters, they are the fastest helicopters because that design enables the helicopter to overcome some of the limitations of the single rotor design and exceed the maximum speeds of those. So even though they're the biggest, those twin rotor helicopters are actually the fastest.
That's cool.
And for that is called a retreating blade stall. So that's the phrase of the week or the day. Because as you can imagine, so it's spinning, and if this blade is going forward, you can imagine the blade that is going into the wind is creating more lift than the blade that is going away
from the wind.
Travel. And so because of that, the blade that is going away from the direction of travel actually begins to stall and limits. There's a maximum speed on helicopters with a rotor because they can't overcome that.
Yeah.
Retreating blade stall. That's why a helicopter, for instance, can't break the sound barrier because they can't go for it's around 200 miles an hour.
Wow.
Did I answer all your questions? That you have
I
a few
think
more?
so. Thanks for your answers.
You're watching TV and not playing with the helicopter. Can I have it back for just a few minutes and then you can play with it? Fly it over here. Okay. So there's a helicopter blade and it's
Hey, you're okay. I feel like that adds good continuity to any video if there's a kid yelling in the background.
we make it explode. We make it explode. We make it explode.